from botany, it was the sexual reproduction in flowering plants and reproduction in organisms. So these two chapters were your syllabus for botany. Your syllabus for zoology was the you had the principles of inheritance and variations. That is the genetics topics you had. Okay, so what we will do is at present we'll be discussing about this questions that you had in your examinations. So let us go into the uh, question paper slide, and then we will discuss about that. Fine. Okay. So the first question that you have in this part of it. So I'll be a true breeding line is one that having undergone continuous self-pollination shows the stable trait inheritance. So it shows the expression for several generations, all of the above. So what is a true breeding line? So a true breeding line is one that has undergone continuous self-pollination to become homozygous. So the answer is a true breeding line is one that has undergone continuous self-pollination. So that is the answer for it. The second question, the percentage of heterozygous individuals obtained from selfing of RR individuals. It is a heterozygous RR individual is. So if percentage of heterozygous individuals obtained from selfing RR is, you're getting it as 1 is to 2 is to 1 ratio. So where 1% of it, one of them will be the uh, pure RR, capital RR, another would be small RR, and you would be having two individuals. So if you convert it into percentages, 1 is to 2 is to 1 ratio, it would be 25 is to 50 is to 25. So 50% of them are heterozygous individuals when we self this heterozygous individuals. So remember the answer is 50% of them. So 1 is to 2 is to 1. This is genotypic ratio. From that, you have to derive this. So genetic makeup, the heterozygous red would be 50% of them. See, the third question that we had was in dwarf plant, uh, pea plant, if dwarf pea plant was treated with gibberellic acid, so GA, gibberellic acid, it grew as tall as the pure tall plant. If this treated plant is crossed with a pure tall plant, then the phenotypic ratio of F2 is likely to be. See, the dwarf plant was treated with gibberellic acid. It grew tall as the pure tall plant. So this dwarf plant, if it was crossed with a pure tall plant, then the phenotypic ratio of F2, phenotypic is based on their external attributes. So it would be 75% tall, 25% dwarf. D is the answer for that. So you might ask me, sir, hasn't there been any change in the dwarf plant? They have been, now they have become pure tall. See, their external morphological character has changed by treatment with gibberellic acid. They might have become tall, but genetic makeup remains the same. That's small t, small t. So if the small t is crossed with pure tall plant, capital T, then obviously the phenotypic ratio of F2 is um, 3 is to 1. So 75% of them are tall, 25% of them are dwarf. There is no change in the genetic makeup. That is the reason the ratio also remains the same. 75% of them are tall, 25% of them are dwarf. The fourth question is, in first filial progeny andre offspring, in first filial progeny of his experiment, Mendel observed that all the F1 progeny plants were, they have given four choices: dwarf, tall, hybrid, all of these. So in the first filial progeny of his experiment, Mendel observed that all the F1 progeny plants were the hybrid. Okay, so because the dominant character was exhibited, so you can write it as hybrid. So that is the answer. Fourth one is C is the answer. So you can also cross check with the answer key that you have. Okay, so has there been
Sir,
any change in the answer here?
yes, sir.
Hmm.
It is given, sir.
What is the answer that they have given the
Tall,
answer as?
tall, sir. B, option B.
Fine, you can write that also, but what type of tall it is? Heterozygous tall or hybrid tall, we can say it as. So here the question itself, there is an ambiguity. Okay, so they should not have given this option of hybrid then, because F1 generation, when you are having two homozygous parents of contrasting alleles, so you get the dominant hybrid. Hybrid would be the tall would be not pure tall, it would be hybrid tall. Anyway, even I had that two options are possible, tall and hybrid. Since they have given the answer as tall, you can write it. But what type of tall it is? It is heterozygous tall or hybrid tall. Okay, so fine, we'll retain with the same answer because here ambiguity is there. Such type of questions you might come across even in CET or NEET. So when people raise questions on that, then they give grace marks. Anyway, here you can remember tall will retain the answer. Phenotypically, the F1 generation will be tall. But when you look into genotypic nature, it is hybrid tall. It is not pure tall, it is hybrid tall. Anyway, we'll retain the same answer as tall. B. Fourth one is B, tall. Then alternative forms of genes for a particular characteristic are called alleles. See, alleles are the contrasting characters. For length of a plant, there is contrasting genes for it. Tall gene, dwarf gene. Okay, so tall and dwarf is allele for the length of the plant. So the alternative forms of genes for a particular characteristic are called alleles. B is the answer for it. Sixth one, in a monohybrid cross, when F1 is crossed with homozygous dominant parent. So in a monohybrid cross, F1 is crossed with homozygous dominant parent, then which of the offsprings we will obtain? So you have to remember monohybrid cross F1 will be, let us just assume it is tall. So F1 would be capital T, small t. It is crossed with homozygous dominant parent. Dominant parent is capital T, capital T. So what are the possibilities? 100% they would be tall. Okay, so all the offsprings will be tall. Okay, so F1 is capital T, small t with homozygous dominant parent, capital T, capital T. So the dominant will be the maximum. Okay, so no recessive is the answer. The answer is no recessive. D is the answer. Okay, all of them will be dominant. So all the four individuals, 4 is to 0 it will be. So recessive is 0 in this cross. Got it? Sixth one, it is no recessive. Seventh one, when a monohybrid is crossed with a recessive parent, the cross is described as. So recessive parent, any generation, if it is crossed with a recessive parent, we call it as test cross. When a monohybrid is crossed with a recessive parent, the cross is described as test cross. Generally, we do that for F1 generation to identify whether F1 is heterozygous or homozygous condition. We do this test cross. Mendel invented this test cross to identify whether they are heterozygous or homozygous. If in the test cross we got the results 1 is to 1, then the F1 hybrid F1 generation is heterozygous in nature. If we got 100% only one character, it implied that the F1 is uh, the pure or homozygous condition. That is how he was able to come across. See, any parent crossed with a recessive parent, we call that cross as the test cross. So remember about the test cross. When a monohybrid is crossed with a recessive parent, the cross is described as a test cross. A is the answer. Eighth one, Mendel found that the reciprocal across yielded identical results. See, reciprocal cross, we do it by in the first generation. So tall, pure tall and pure dwarf, we are crossing there. So in the first cross, we'll have pure tall as male plant and pure dwarf as female plant. Then in the other cross, reciprocal cross, pure tall is made as female and pure dwarf is made as male. So the gender of these parents are changed. So that to we do this cross, and Mendel did this cross just to see to it that if we change the gender, are the results going to be different? But fortunately for Mendel, he got the same results as the first cross. So he got 3:1 phenotypic ratio, 1:2:1 as the genotypic ratio for monohybrid. You obtain the same even in case of this reciprocal cross. Fortunately for him, he had not chosen sex-linked character. He had chosen only the what you call it as non-sex-linked characters. So he was fortunate, and that is why his results were consistent. Okay, so when Mendel found that the reciprocal across yield identical results, from this, what do we come to a conclusion? So we can come to a conclusion that there is no dominance of any traits. Sex has no influence on the dominance of traits. There is independent assortment of traits. Sex plays a role in deciding the dominance of a trait. So B is the answer. From the reciprocal cross, we come to a conclusion that sex has no influence on the dominance of traits. That is what is the answer. So the ninth one, the F2 ratio resulting from a monohybrid cross will be. So the F2 ratio resulting from a monohybrid cross will be. What is that F2 ratio that you get? So you are going to get it as 3:1. Monohybrid cross, the phenotypic ratio is 3:1. The genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. Okay, so you have to C is the answer 3:1. For ninth question, C is the answer 3:1. So tenth one, how many pairs of contrasting characters in P pod were chosen by Mendel? How many pair of contrasting characters in P pod were chosen by Mendel? The answer is two. A, two. So he chose only two contrasting characters in P pod. So A is two. So when two individuals, 11th question, when two individuals heterozygous for the same genes, they are heterozygous for the same genes, are bred together, so they produce, that is, it is F2 generation is selfing the heterozygous or hybrid, isn't it? So F1 into F1, it is of the same nature. When two individuals, both of them are heterozygous for the same genes, if they are bred together, they produce. Now, the options that they have given for this is only dominant phenotypes, all of the same genotypes, only recessive phenotypes. C is only dominant phenotypes of different genotypes, both recessive and dominant phenotypes, the latter being of two genotypes. So D is the answer, both recessive and dominant phenotypes. See, when they are heterozygous in nature, you can obviously expect the genotypic ratio to be 3 is to, phenotypic ratio is 3 is to 1. Genotypic ratio is 1 is to 2 is to 1. In this 1 is to 2 is to 1, you find one of them is dominant, pure dominant, then one is recessive, and there is heterozygous dominant. So dominant phenotypes, they are of two genotypes. The latter is nothing but dominant phenotype. They are of two genotypes. That is, it can be capital T, or it can be capital T, small t. So D is the answer. So both recessive and dominant phenotypes, the latter being of two genotypes. So 12th one, the F1 generation has all tall and F2 ratio 3 is to 1. So it proves, what does it prove? F1 generation has all tall and F2 ratio is 3 is to 1. What does it prove? Does it prove law of dominance, incomplete assortment, law of segregation, or linkage? C, The answer is C, law of segregation. Law of segregation, we also call it as law of purity of gametes. Okay. 13th one, what would be the genotype of a plant that was homozygous for the dominant trait of axial flowers? So we are asking for what would be the genotype of a plant that was homozygous for the dominant trait of axial flowers. Is it capital A, capital A, small a, or is it small a, cannot be determined. Homozygous dominant trait, it would be capital A, capital A. A is the answer, capital A, capital A. 14th one, Mendel formulated the law of purity of gametes, that is law of segregation or purity of gametes, on the basis of monohybrid cross. See, Mendel, he was not aware of the concept of haploid nature of gametes, but he was able to come to the same conclusion of haploid nature of gametes using monohybrid cross. So there is law of segregation or law of purity of gametes, you can notice. So Mendel formulated the law of purity of gametes on the basis of monohybrid cross. So you can remember it is on the basis of monohybrid cross. C is the answer. 15th one, a 1:1 phenotypic ratio in a test cross indicates that the unknown plant is heterozygous. So heterozygous dominant. The alleles are dominant. One parent must have been homozygous recessive. The dominant phenotype parent was a heterozygote. The alleles segregated independently. C is the answer. When you get a result of test cross 1:1, then it indicates the dominant phenotype parent was a heterozygous parent. So the C is the answer. The dominance phenotype parent was heterozygote. 16th one, Mendel carried out the experiment on pea plant in. Where did he carry it out? Was it Vienna University, University of Austria, or Monastery of Brunn, or School of Brunn? So the answer is Monastery of Brunn. So Monastery of Brunn is the answer. Okay, 16th one. So he was a monk. Gregor Johann Mendel was a monk who used this backyard garden for all his experiments on this monohybrid and dihybrid cross. So it was Monastery of Brunn or Brunn in Austria. Okay, so back cross is used for determining. See, this is back cross. You have come across three types of cross, isn't it? Test cross, reciprocal cross, and this is back cross. I told you one point, all test crosses are back cross, but all back cross are not test cross. Whenever we are saying back cross, see, an unknown parent is crossed with dominant or recessive parent. Back cross can be dominant or recessive parent, that you have to remember, whereas test cross is always recessive parent. Okay, so reciprocal cross, we are swapping the gender of the parents. That is what it is. So back cross can be any parent, dominant or recessive parent. If an unknown plant is crossed with its dominant or recessive parent, we call it as back cross. That is why you should remember all test crosses are back cross, but all back crosses are not test cross. Okay. So what does this back cross indicates? Is it purity of gametes, mutant genes, genotype of one of the parent, or sibling relationship? So what does this backcross is used for determining? So the backcross is used for determining the purity of gametes. Okay, purity of gametes. So you can just write that as the answer. 18th one. Which of the following genes shows the heterozygous condition? Capital R, small r, capital R, capital R, small r, none of these. Capital R, small r is the answer. So they exhibit heterozygous condition. The F2 genotypic ratio of monohybrid crosses, the answer is B, 1:2:1. The answer is B, 1:2:1. So remember about that. Then the hybrids contain Alleles of contrasting traits are called, the hybrids containing alleles of contrasting traits are called heterozygous. The answer is heterozygous. So 21st one, genotypic and phenotypic ratio in monohybrid cross remains the same in case of incomplete dominance. Or so here the answer is sex-linked genes, pseudoallelic genes, intermediate inheritance, dominant and recessive genes. C is the answer. So intermediate inheritance or incomplete dominance. You have studied about incomplete dominance in Snapdragon Majors. Okay, so it is incomplete dominance. That is what you have to remember about. So the incomplete dominance or intermediate inheritance is the answer. So the genotypic ratio is also 1 is to 2 is to 1. Phenotypic ratio is also 1 is to 2 is to 1. So you have studied incomplete dominance with Antirrhinum majus, the snapdragon as an example. Okay, even in 4 o'clock plant, it shows this incomplete dominance. So the next question that we have is 22nd one. The proportion of the plants that Mendel found in self-pollination of F1 plants was. So the proportion of the plants that Mendel found on self-pollination of F1 plants was, that is F2 generation, F1 into F1 selfing. What did he find? The answer, so 1 by 4th of them is dwarf and 3 by 4th of them was tall. So B is the answer. Out of 4 of them, 1 was dwarf and 3 of them were tall. B is the answer. 1 by 4th of them was dwarf and 3 by 4th of them were tall. Okay. So the next question is Mendel's principle of segregation was based on the segregation of alleles in the garden pea. So during which stage? Segregation or separation of alleles in the garden pea during pollination, or is it embryonic development, seed formation, or gamete formation? So the separation of alleles in the garden pea during the uh, pollination is the answer that they have given. Okay, Mendel's principle of segregation was based on the separation of alleles in the garden pea during the pollination. Okay, even though I feel during gamete formation there is a separation of alleles, they have given the answer as pollination. It is ambiguous. For me, I felt gamete formation, that is where the separation of alleles in the garden pea took place. Okay, so D is the gamete formation, even though they have given the answer as pollination. D is the answer, gamete formation. Okay, genetics deals with heredity and variations. A is the answer, heredity and variations. An organism with two identical alleles is homozygous. An organism with two identical alleles is homozygous. 26th question. How many pairs of contrasting characters in pea plants were studied by Mendel in his experiments? So 7 pairs of contrasting characters were studied by Mendel in his experiment. B is the answer. 26th is B. 27th, recessive mutations are expressed in next generation, homozygous condition, same generation, heterozygous condition. So recessive mutations are expressed in homozygous condition. So B is the answer. So the recessive mutations, they are always expressed in, since they are recessive, they can get expressed only in homozygous condition. Okay, B is the answer. 28th, a person whose blood group is A can have the genotype as IAA or IA and O. So IAA or IAIO. So C is the answer. So they have homozygous condition for A or heterozygous condition for A, where The other gene is recessive. IO is recessive gene. Monosomy. Monosomy means you have this aneuploidy where you have monosomy, trisomy, nullisomy, and tetrasomy. Monosomy is 2n minus 1. That is, one chromosome will be less than the diploid number. Trisomy is 2n plus 1. One chromosome is more than the diploid number. Tetrasomy, so 2n plus 2. That is, two chromosomes will be more than the diploid number. The nullisomy is 2n minus 2, where two chromosomes will be lesser than the diploid number. So monosomy is seen in uh, 2n minus 1. In this Down syndrome, it is 47 chromosomes. So Patau syndrome, Edward syndrome, we have not studied that. Turner syndrome has 45 chromosomes, where one of the sex chromosomes is missing in the female. So they will be having 44 autosomes plus X. They won't be having XX, it would be plus X. So they have 45 chromosomes. So Turner syndrome is monosomy. And if you want me to say what type of monosomy, it is allosomal monosomy, that is sex chromosome monosomy. There is absence of one chromosome. So monosomy is seen in Turner syndrome. It is allosomal monosomy. So the frequency of Down syndrome increases when the maternal age is above 35 years. So Down syndrome possibility will be more when the maternal age, that is the mother's age, is above 35 years. Monosomy and trisomy can be represented as monosomy is 2n plus 1, 2n minus 1, and trisomy is 2n plus 1. So the answer would be B, 2n minus 1. Monosomy is 2n minus 1. Trisomy is 2n plus 1. So the answer is D, 2n minus 1 and 2n plus 1. You can notice in D. So monosomy and trisomy can be represented as 2n minus 1 and 2n plus 1. 31st answer, D is the answer. The person with Turner syndrome has Turner syndrome has 44 autosomes and XO sex chromosomes. That is, they have only one X chromosomes, one X sex chromosome. So 44 autosomes and X0 sex chromosome. B is the answer. 44 autosomes and X0 sex chromosomes. Find out the mismatched pair. 33rd question we have. Find out the mismatched pair. Hemophilia, sex-linked recessive. Yes, it is sex-linked inheritance, hemophilia or royal bleeder's disease. Cystic fibrosis is also autosomal recessive. Down syndrome, trisomy of 21st chromosome, yes. Turner syndrome is Y-linked, that is a wrong answer. Turner syndrome is absence of X chromosome. It is not Y-linked inheritance. See, Y-linked inheritance, you notice the appearance of hair on ears, hypertrichosis only in men. Okay, that is an example. So Turner syndrome is absence of X chromosome. So it is not Y-linked. So the mismatched pair is D. For the 33rd question, D is the mismatched pair. Which of the following is mismatched pair of disease and its related symptom? Disease, they have given phenylketonuria, symptom urine turns black on exposure to air, it is correct. Disease Down syndrome, physical and mental retardation, it is correct. Disease um, Klinefelter syndrome, symptom is sterile males. So that is also correct. Disease Turner syndrome, sterile females. So these are correct. So here we have to find out the mismatch. Down syndrome, mental retardation is there. So the answer is B. Down syndrome, there is only mental retardation, not physical retardation. So let me also check this answer 34th one, isn't it? One minute. 34th, uh, A is the wrong answer. So phenylketonuria, urine turns black on exposure to air is a wrong answer. Down syndrome, there is some physical deformities are there. Mental retardation is also there. So B, C, and D are correct answers. A is the mismatch. Phenylketonuria, urine turns black on exposure to air is the mismatch pair of disease. 35th, the Mongolism or Down syndrome, it occurs when the parents have the Mongolism or Down syndrome occurs when the parents have the 21st chromosome. They will be three in number. That is 21st chromosome trisomy is noticed in Down syndrome. So the non-disjunction of 21st chromosome during oogenesis is the answer. So non-disjunction is during the formation of egg cell, the 21st chromosome doesn't get separated during meiosis, and they are that particular chromosome, two of them will be retained in the ovum or egg cell. So non-disjunction of 21st chromosome during oogenesis results in Mongolism or Down syndrome. Okay. Gynecomastia is a symptom of, it is Klinefelter syndrome. So enlargement of breast is seen in Klinefelter syndrome, where they have 44 autosomes plus XXY. So the allosome will be one number more. So 47 chromosomes they have, of which 44 are autosomes, and the allosomes or sex chromosomes are XXY. So Klinefelter syndrome exhibits gynecomastia, that is enlargement of breast. Turner syndrome is caused by, so what is Turner syndrome caused by? Is it autosomal aneuploidy, sex chromosome aneuploidy, polyploidy, or trisomy? It is sex chromosome aneuploidy. So in particular, if they had given it as monosomy, allosomal monosomy, aneuploidy is imbalanced set of chromosome. Imbalanced set of chromosomes can happen either by more chromosomes or less chromosomes. Turner syndrome is because of less chromosome. One of the sex chromosome, instead of them having XX chromosome, they have only one X chromosome. So the other X chromosome is absent. So sex chromosome aneuploidy is the answer for Turner syndrome. Of all these choices, the best choice is B, sex chromosome aneuploidy. Which of the following, 38th question, which of the following are associated with Down syndrome? What are all associated with Down syndrome? Short statured, fine. Small round head, fine. Fourth one, broad flat face. Rudimentary ovaries, gynecomastia, they are not associated with. So 1, 2, and 4. So D is the answer. 1, 2, and 4. You find this choices in D. D is the answer. So Down syndrome, they have short statured, small round head, broad flat face. Okay, they look like mongoloids. That is why we call it as Down syndrome is also called as mongoloid syndrome or mongoloidism. Okay, D, 1, 2, and 4 is the answer. 39th, the parenchyma tissue, which forms the bulk of ovule, where the sporogenous tissue is produced. So we call it as nucellus. See, from the nucellus, one of the cell differentiates to form the megaspore mother cell, isn't it? So the parenchyma tissue, which forms the bulk of the ovule. See, nucellus surrounds the embryo sac. Bulk of the ovule, where the sporogenous tissue is produced is nucellus. Nucellus is the answer. 39th B is the answer. Fertilization of the egg takes place inside the embryo sac. Fertilization of the egg takes place inside the embryo sac. D is the answer. 41st, the condition where filaments are and anthers are fused throughout the entire length is, throughout the entire length, if the filaments and anthers are fused, what do we call that condition as? It is called as synandrous. The condition is synandrous. Entire androecium is fused. So we call it as synandrous. Syngenesious means only the anther lobes are fused. Okay. So synandrous is the answer. 41st A is the answer. Night blooming flowers are generally lightweight, scented, brightly colored, bloom in clusters. So they are scented, aromatic. Night blooming flowers are aromatic. You might have noticed this in Brahma Kamala. They are white colored flowers. Generally, night blooming flowers are white colored so that they are contrasting, and they have very strong aroma to attract the insect. So they are scented. Night blooming flowers are generally scented. B is the answer. Flowers are unisexual in cucumber. See, China rose, onion, pea, they have bisexual. Both androecium and gynoecium is present in the same flower. In cucumber, male and female flowers are separate. So they have unisexual flowers. So 43rd, cucumber is the answer D. The function of anther is to produce hibiscus bodies, produce pollen grains, store and protect pollen grains, all of the above. 1 minute. So 44th answer. So they produce pollen grain. The major function of anther is to produce pollen grain. So produce pollen grain. 44 B is the answer. In Chiropterophily, Chiroptera, order Chiroptera, bats are placed. Okay, in order Chiroptera. So in Chiropterophily, pollination is performed by bats. So A is the answer. 45th, A is the answer. If birds are forming pollination, we call it as ornithophily. Squirrels, if they are bringing about pollination, we call it as zoophily. If insects are bringing pollination, we call it as entomophily. So the answer for 45th, chiropterophily, A, bats are the answer because bats are placed under the order Chiroptera. Remember that. Another term of cross pollination is, see, cross pollination is also called as allogamy and xenogamy. So you can use this as both A and B. Xenogamy also implies cross pollination. Allogamy also implies cross pollination. C is the answer, both A and B. Two plants can be conclusively said to belong to the same species if they have more than 90% similar genes. B, if they look similar and possess identical secondary metabolites. C, have same number of chromosomes. D, can reproduce freely with each other and form seeds. So the 47D is the answer. So two plants can be conclusively said to belong to the same species if they can reproduce freely with each other and they can form seeds. 47D is the answer. 48th, pollen grains of a flower fall on the stigma of another flower of the same plant. Of a flower fall on the stigma of another flower of the same plant. So this is gytenogamy that they are talking about. The phenomenon is, so they are genetically autogamy and ecologically allogamy. A is the answer. Genetically they are self-pollination, but ecologically they are allogamy. So that is cross-pollination. So A is the answer. Genetically autogamy and ecologically allogamy. The largest inflorescence of the world is pollinated by uh, insects. So the largest inflorescence, that is the Amorphophallus titanum. So Amorphophallus titanum, they are pollinated by insects. Long ribbon-like pollen grains are seen in some aquatic plants. So this ribbon-like pollen grains are seen in some aquatic plants. A is the answer, 50th. 51st, a yellow sticky substance present on the surface of entomophilous pollen grains is sporopollenin, lignosuberin, pollen kit, mucopolysaccharide. So 51st, the answer is C, pollen kit. So a yellow sticky substance present on the surface of entomophilous pollen grains is pollen kit. C is the answer. The conditions, 52nd, the conditions required for the autogamy. So what are the conditions for self-pollination or autogamy? Bisexuality, synchrony in pollen release and stigma receptivity. Both should be mature at the same time, androecium and gynoecium. Anther and stigma should lie close to each other. All of the above is the answer. All these three, if they are there, then they can undergo self-pollination or autogamy. D is the answer. All of the above. 52nd, D is the answer. 53rd, pollination in lotus is done by insects. Even though it is an aquatic plant, lotus, the flowers are above the water. They are colorful and attractive. Okay, so entomophilus it is. Pollination in lotus is done by insects. So B is the answer. 54th, which of the pollination type is caused by birds? B, ornithophily. See, entomophily is by insects. Ornithophily, you might have studied ornithology is the study of birds. Father of Indian ornithology, Salim Ali, Dr. Salim Ali. You might have known about all those. So from that word, ornitho is derived. So the pollination caused by birds is ornithophily. Malacophily is pollination caused by snails. If the snail causes pollination, we call it as malacophily. If bats causes the pollination, we call it as chiroptily. Okay, 55th, anemophily type of pollination is found in. Anemophily means wind pollination here. So salvia, it is a insect pollinated. Bottle brush, colorful flowers they have. Even they are insect pollinated. Vallisneria is water pollinated. Hydrophily it is. Coconut or date palm, they are monocots and they are colorless flowers. So coconut or date palm, it is pollinated by wind. So it is anemophily. So D is the answer. Anemophily type of pollination is found in coconut or date palm. 56, yucca plant is pollinated by a species of moth, Pronuba. A species of moth, Pronuba. A is the answer. Yucca plant is pollinated by a species of moth, Pronuba, where they lay their eggs within the uh, ovary and they develop, the larvae develops within the fruit. So a species of moth, Pronuba, the yucca plant is pollinated by a species of moth, Pronuba. So both of them coexist. They cannot live without each other. Symbiosis you can notice in yucca plant and the species of moth, Pronuba. 57, anemophily is pollination through what? Wind. So, or air. So B is the answer. Anemophily is pollination through air. In most of the water pollinated species, pollen grains are protected from wetting by a mucilaginous covering. A is the answer. 58th, A is the answer. Mucilaginous covering. Fill in the blanks. Here you have the male and female gametes in angiosperms are produced in the dash and B respectively. So they are produced in, so if you look into the answers for the, uh, so A and B, so male gametes are produced within the pollen grain, B embryo sac. Fine. In angiosperms, both male and female gametes are dash. They have to be, both male and female gametes are non-motile. They don't have any locomotor structure. So C is non-motile. A is pollen grain, B is embryo sac, C is non-motile. They have to be brought together for fertilization. D is fertilization to occur. The dash is the mechanism to achieve this objective. Pollination is the mechanism to achieve this objective. So for 59, D is the answer. A pollen grain, B embryo sac, C non-motile, D fertilization, and E pollination. So 59th, D is the answer. 60th question, insect pollinated or entomophilous flowers are characterized by. So the insect characterized by what? Large number of pollens, dry and smooth pollens, sticky pollens, exerted stigmas. C is the answer. They are sticky pollens. See, insect pollinated flowers, they should have the sticky pollens to stick on to the body of the insect. C is the answer. 61st, which of the following are incorrect about pollen grains? Pollen grains develop inside the microsporangia. Pollen grains represent the male gametophytic generation. The pollen grains have a two-layered wall, the outer intine and inner exine. The intine is made up of sporopollenin and has germ pores. Pollen grains are always two-shedded at the time of shedding. So you have to. So what are the statements which are incorrect about pollen grains? So the pollen grains third, fourth, and fifth, they are incorrect. So pollen grains have a two-layered wall, yes, but the outer is called as exine. The exine is made up of sporopollenin and not intine. So fourth one is also a wrong statement. Pollen grains, they can be shed as three-celled pollen grain also. So 60% shed them as two-celled and 40% as three-celled pollen grain. So they are not always two-celled. So third, fourth, and fifth are wrong statements. C is the answer. What is correct about viola? Viola is an ornamental plant. We call it as pansy plant. So commonly called common Ponzi. So that is what is correct about viola. This is correct. A is correct. They bear two types of flowers. Chasmogamous, that is they bloom. Cleistogamous, these flowers never bloom and they are found near the roots. So these are the two types of flowers. So that is also a noticed in them. Produce assured seed set even in the absence of pollinators. D. All of the above is the answer. For the 62nd, all these three are noticed in viola or common pansy, what we call it as. D is the answer, all of the above. The useful floral rewards by Yakka is, what is the useful floral rewards by Yakka? So it is a safe egg laying place for the moth. So it is a safe egg laying place for the moths. So that is the reward that the moth gets from Yucca plant. 64th, a dicotyledonous plant, they bear flowers but never produce fruit and seeds. The most probable cause for the above situation. This is a very interesting question. So, dicotyledonous plant bears flowers, but they never produce fruits and seeds. The most probable cause for the above situation is plant is dioecious and bears only pistillate flowers. See, pistillate flowers means female flowers. They can produce fruit and seeds. Okay. So that statement is wrong. Plant is dioecious and bears both pistillate and staminate flowers. That is also wrong. Plant is monoecious. That is in the same plant they have male and female flowers. That is also wrong. Plant is dioecious and bears only staminate flowers. That is the right answer. Only a male plant uh, produce flowers, but they never produce fruits and seeds. So the plant should be a male plant. So 64, the answer is plant is dioecious and bears only staminate flowers. That is, that plant is a male plant, as in case of papaya or in case of date palm. Male plant it is. They can produce flowers, but they cannot produce fruit and seeds. So D is the right answer. Plant is dioecious and bears only staminate flowers. Both autogamy, that is self-pollination, and geitonogamy are prevented in. So autogamy and geitonogamy are prevented in which plant? It is papaya because they have only male plants or only female plants. So there is no self-pollination, neither there is geitonogamy. So answer is A, papaya plant. So both autogamy and geitonogamy are prevented in papaya. So 66, to avoid cross pollination, the flowers are closed. It is, what do you call this closed flowers as cleistogamy. So to promote self-pollination, the flowers are closed and they avoid cross-pollination. So cleistogamous flowers, it is cleistogamy. 66 is B is the answer. The phenomenon of maturation of anthers earlier than the stigma of the same flower is protandry. I've used this term. If Andrecia matures first, we call it as protandry. If Gynecia matures first, we use the term protogyny. So B is the answer for 67th, protandry. 68th, unisexuality of flowers prevents geitonogamy but not xenogamy, autogamy and geitonogamy, autogamy but not geitonogamy, both geitonogamy and xenogamy. So unisexuality of flowers prevents what? So Autogamy and geitonogamy both are right answers. Unisexual of flowers prevents self-pollination, and geitonogamy is also a type of self-pollination, but it is different flowers in the two different flowers, pollination of two different flowers in the same plant. That is geitonogamy. So both unisexuality of flowers prevents autogamy as well as geitonogamy. 68B is the answer. In a flowering plant, the pollen tube first arrives in the egg, antipodal cell, synergid, or central cell. Synergid is the answer. In a flowering plant, the pollen tube first arrives in synergid and deposits its contents in the synergid, filiform apparatus of the synergid. So synergid is the answer. Which of the following is not a water pollinated plant? Cannabis is not a water pollinated plant, whereas Joostera, which is an algae, Vallisneria and Hydrilla, they are submerged aquatic plants. All these three undergoes water pollination or hydrophily. Cannabis sativa is ganja plant, so they are terrestrial plants, so they don't have water pollination. D is the wrong answer. D does not undergo, cannabis does not undergo hydrophily. The term self-sterility implies when pollen grains are sterile, when pollen grains do not germinate on the stigma of the same flower. B is the answer. When pollen grains do not germinate on the stigma of the same flower, we call it as self-sterility. 72nd, largest cell of the ovule is megaspore mother cell, antipodal cell, central cell is the largest cell. Within the central cell, you find the three antipodals and egg apparatus. The central cell has the secondary nucleus. So central cell is the largest cell of the ovule. 72nd C is the answer. Study of pollen grain is called palynology. Okay, microbiology is study of microorganism, microbiology, that is. Anthology is study of flowers. Pomology is study of fruits. So palynology is study of pollen grains. So 73rd C is the answer, palynology. And 74th, an ovule generally has a single embryo sac formed through a megaspore through. So an ovule generally has a single embryo sac formed from a megaspore through reduction divisions, mitotic divisions, mitotic division followed by meiotic division by followed by mitotic division. Here the answer is mitotic divisions. Megaspore would have formed from meiosis, but they are asking here an ovule generally has a single embryo sac formed from a megaspore through mitotic divisions. It is mitotic division. So where they fought two-celled embryo, four-celled, four nucleate embryo, eight nucleate embryo, and finally they organized to form the embryo sac. So it is mitotic divisions. 75th in Papaver pistil, Papaver somnifera, Gusgussae plant, okay, or the poppy plant. So in Papaver pistil is multicarpellary syncarpus. B is the answer. It is multicarpellary syncarpus. They have quoted this example in the NCERT book. So remember it, multicarpellary syncarpus. Triple fusion in angiosperm is the fusion of second sperm with two polar nuclei. D is the answer. 76th. It fuses with two polar nuclei in the central cell to form the angiosperm. That process of fusion of sperm with two polar nuclei together, we call it as triple fusion. So D is the answer, 76th. External water is not essential for fertilization in D, spermatophytes, seed-bearing plants. See in cryptogams, first vascular plants, that is pteridophytes, bryophytes, they all require water for fertilization. But in seeded plants like gymnosperm and angiosperm, they are placed under spermatophytes. They do not require water for fertilization. So 77th D is the answer. 78th, which of the vital link that ensures continuity of species between organisms of one generation and the next? What is the vital link? It is zygote. Zygote is a vital link that ensures continuity of species between organisms of one generation and the next generation. So 78C is the answer. See, coconut water from a tender coconut is free nuclear endosperm. I've already told you about this. The coconut water from a tender coconut is free nuclear endosperm. D is the answer. The embryo in sunflower is a dicotyledonous plant. So it will be having two cotyledons. The embryo in sunflower has two cotyledons, 80th A. The endosperm of angiosperm is developed from, where is the endosperm of angiosperm developed from? It is developed from the secondary nucleus. 81st D is the answer, secondary nucleus. Free nuclear division occurs in endosperm. So free nuclear division occurs in endosperm. So development of fruit without fertilization is parthenocarpy. A is the answer. 83rd A is the answer. Read the assertion and reason carefully to mark the correct option in the question. Syngamy results in the formation of endosperm. The assertion is wrong. It should be zygote. Triple fusion results in the formation of endosperm. So this both assertion and reason are false. D is the answer. Both assertion and reason are false. 85th, when micropyle, chalaza, and hilum lie in a straight line, so it is in a straight line, the ovule is called as orthotropous ovule. See, if they are lying side together, anatropous ovule. What you have studied structure of ovule or microsporangium, it is the megasporangium, structure of megasporangium. It is anatropous ovule, but orthotropous ovule, they have micropyle, chalaza, and hilum in a straight line. So we call that ovule as orthotropous. 85th is B. 86, you have to match the column with one with column 2. Ovary after fertilization, they form the fruit. A is 5. B is 4. Ovule forms the seed. Wall of the ovary is going to form the pericarp. Okay. So fleshy fruits, guava, orange, and mango are examples for fleshy fruits. Dry fruits, groundnut and mustard are examples for dry fruits. So just see in which combination they have this. So where it A is 5, B is 4, C is 3. So B is the answer. Okay, so let me say it again. A is the answer. A is 5, B is 4, C is 3, D is 2, E is 1. So A is the answer for 86th question. A is 5, B is 6, C is 3, and D is 2, and E is 1. 87th question. An example of a seed with endosperm, perisperm, and caruncle. All these three things you can see it in castor seed. Early Erne bijam. So early Erne bijam, that is castor seed. You can notice endosperm, perisperm, and caruncle. See in the seed, there is a white outer covering, white cap-like structure. In this castor seed, we call it as caruncle. Okay, this is noticed in castor, 87th. 88th, epigeal germination. See, hypogeal occurs in monocots. Epigeal or germination occurs in dicots. So where do they take place? So here the example you can quote, B is the answer. In papaya and cotton, epigeal germination occurs because they are dicotyledonous plants. 89th, which one of the following structure found in dicot seed will be genetically identical with its maternal plant? Okay, so which will be that after the fertilization, testa, radical, plumule, cotyledon. Testa is the answer because it is developed from the integuments of the ovule, and in no way their genetical identity is changed. They remain the same genetic identity as the mother plant. So testa, the seed coat, so is the structure found in dicot seed, which will be genetically identical with its maternal plant. 89th, A is the answer. 90th, perisperm is what? It is remnant of, so this question will be the remnant of endosperm, persistent nucellus, peripheral part of endosperm, disintegrated secondary nucleus. The answer is persistent nucellus is the answer. Perisperm is the persistent nucellus. Okay. So that is the answer that you have to remember about. So this completes our discussion of biology question paper that was there for today. So where we had two topics, that is reproduction in organisms, sexual reproduction in flowering plants, and principles of inheritance and variation. So these questions were covered here. Okay. So if you have any doubts or clarification, you can ask me now. Do you have any doubts or clarifications?